Hello, everybody. Hello. How are we doing tonight? Hopefully okay. Hello, welcome. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to try to get my tape set up here so that I can get my documents in frame properly, hopefully. We will do our best, at least. There we go. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. I'm just checking to make sure I've got everything going here, so... Okay, excellent. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Sorry, it's taking me a minute to get set up here. It's been a bit of a struggle today, but we're getting there. So let me try to get my paperwork here in frame. So let me just ask, am I in frame okay, everybody? I gotta put my last piece of tape here just to make sure I'm good to go. I really wanted to go through Georgia and answer some questions tonight, so hopefully I'm in frame okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Doing a little bit of a bonus live tonight. Just had a lot going on, so thought I'd pop on and say hello to everybody. Hopefully this will be in frame okay. So hopefully that'll be good enough. How is everyone doing tonight? Okay. Yeah, doing okay. It's been a bit of a day today. I'm not sure what's been something in the water today, I think. It's been a bit odd, but overall, mostly a pretty good day. Here we go. I want to make sure I got everything in the picture okay. All right. Okay, there we go. Oh my gosh, yes, I saw. Oh, yeah, that was a moment for him, wasn't it? Oh my goodness, I'm not sure what we're going to do about that situation. But I did. Yeah, I saw the press conference. Yeah, I feel like he may need to do something. It seems like people are having some concerns, and rightfully so. But hopefully he can get things sorted out. You know, I think we do have this point with a lot of our people in Congress where we have some questions, I think. I think we've got some, legitimate questions. I think when you work so hard your whole life, it's okay to go ahead and take some time off. Oh, thank you. So, yeah, I don't know that, people should be afraid to go ahead and take some time to themselves towards the end of their career when they've put their time in. So that's my humble opinion, at least. I'm not sure how humble it is, but yeah, use the health insurance. Oh, good point. Very good point. Absolutely. That's kind of key. So I do have my chart here again. I gotta move my little mushroom guy over, but I do have my chart set up again so we can remember who everybody is. But it has been quite a week. Oh, we do. Term limits. I know. It just seems like, I'm not... I understand why people want to stay. I totally get that. But I think at some point you have to you know, you got to live your life. At what point do you say I've worked enough and it's time to go forth and live my life? That's how I try to look at it. But I've got my little chart out today in case anyone is wanting to know the faces that go with the counts here. So I've been going through this indictment a little bit more thoroughly recently, and sometimes I forget like how much evidence and information is actually included in this indictment. It's a lot. Is Floyd still in jail? Yes, my understanding is he is. And actually, when I went through his charges, Mr. Floyd's charges, he really doesn't actually have that many charges. I've got a little key, so I've kind of written little notes on everything, but when I was looking through everything that he was involved in, it really wasn't that much. So I wasn't sure how long he was going to be in there. We've got Ellis, Smith, Cheeley, Roman, Schaefer, and then still over here, and then Mr. Floyd is right here. He's got count 1, which is the Rico count, and I think that's probably why he's still in jail, is because of that. But counts 30 and 31 had to do with the witness situation and the false information. So he's only got 3 counts, but that includes that Rico. So I think that's really what's keeping him from being able to hit bail or not, I think, in my opinion. You think you saw he got bond? Yeah, well, you know, let me just double check. He was talking about that, you know, and I can understand where he's coming from on that. Let me just double check. Okay, it looks like he was granted bond. He did negotiate bond out last night. $100,000 bond was negotiated, is what I'm finding. So, okay, yeah. Well, that's good, at least. He's got some time to get out. Yeah, that's pretty rough when you're looking at that level of bond. Again, you know, you've got $10,000 you've got to put down in Georgia. So that's still pretty significant. 100,000. Yeah, I mean, I think 10% is 10,000. I'm not good at math. That's why I went into law, but you know, yeah, I don't know. It could be 20. I have to check my math, but I think it's 10% is what the requirements are. At least that was my understanding. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I have gone through and I've really kind of pulled this indictment apart, looking at, you know, how many people were charged for each thing, how many were lawyers, how many were people in the community. And there are a few of these counts that only have 1 or 2 people charged to them. So I thought that was really interesting, because I think when we just look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much. But when you start breaking it apart, it starts making a bit more sense. Oh, am I subscriber only now? Oh no, is that what's happened? Oh, I was wondering. I was missing a few people. So hold on, everybody. I'm just terrible at my different settings. There we go. Hold on there. Sorry about that. I apologize. There we go. We should be good to go now. Is everyone? There we go. I apologize. Sorry, everybody. I was kind of in messing around with the different settings earlier today. Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm so glad you said something. Thank you, everybody. I was wondering. I'm like, where is everybody? Oh, no. Oh, shoo. Thank you so much. I'm glad you told me. You know, I'm certainly not into, I just thought everyone was being quiet today. I was like, oh, everyone's kind of just thinking and having deep thoughts. You know, I am not a tech person, so I just try to go in and every once in a while I put a few new phrases in to kind of help with the moderators. So phrases like, you know, Cheeto and various things. So I must have clicked it off. I apologize, everybody. I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. Welcome. my gosh. Oh, yeah, no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm so glad everybody said something. I apologize. No, I wouldn't just do that. I didn't even know what the subscriber situation was, so I must have somehow clicked a button. I'm so sorry about that. Sometimes I'm just an absolute dingleberry when it comes to tech. Oh, no. Oh, no, you don't have to subscribe. Oh, no. Please don't. Don't worry about it. I don't even know what I'm doing. So, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you told me though. I was getting concerned. I was like, wait, because I had checked I was like, where is everybody? Everyone's so quiet. Anyway, I apologize. So here we go. We'll get it started here. Luckily, it's only been about 10 minutes. I had been telling my moderators I would hop on and try to wait about 10 minutes until I really got started. So we're technically going. Oh yes, lurk away. Oh my gosh, I know. I am just absolute not good at the technology business. I do try, but oh, hashtag fail. But I'm so glad somebody told me. Oh, wow. I'll have to do some kind of signal next time if for some reason that button gets flipped. I'll have to leave that up to my peeps to let me know. Oh, hello, Kelly. Hello, Hawk. Welcome. Oh, that's so sweet of you. I appreciate that. No. I love to get questions and comments. That's, one of the best reasons why I enjoy coming on. So no, I didn't mean to mute. I didn't. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm sorry about that. Yes, probably would. Yeah. Hello, Rosie. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm so sorry. Desert Skies. I am so thankful. I really appreciate your assistance. Yes, cool stickers. Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's not. No one should have to do that. Oh my goodness gracious. What am I even doing? Sometimes I wonder. Oh yeah, my page is busy. So I need a moment to recover. It's been one of those days. I have been just in and out of, meetings and phone calls. It's just been a wacky, crazy day today. So I thought I would come on and sit down and make it so no one could talk to me. Oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry about that. Yep, boop. Oh, that's so funny. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So I have my little picture out here. So as we go through, we can kind of talk about, I know who this person is, but and this one, but other than that, then, the faces I don't really have down. So yeah. And I think that's okay. I think we get the general idea. So I'm all right with that. But I did want to go through, the Georgia indictment. Oh, I'm so thankful you all stayed with me here. So, yes, I know, right? I mean, what are you going to do? I don't know if you would smile or not. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I'm not sure. I mean, if it'd make it better than my passport photo, I think I would smile. Because my passport photo, I had them take it. I asked them, I'm like, can you retake it? And they're like, well, we're not supposed to, but we will. And they took it again. And I'm like, wait a minute, do you have a filter? And they're like, ma'am, no. So it's a bit of a live and learn. So let's talk a little bit about the Georgia indictment again. Let's kind of go through that. I've been breaking these different charges apart. You can see my page is a little bit busy. I've got a lot of notes on here because I get a lot of questions about different who's been charged and with what. So I've kind of broken it down into a few different categories to kind of walk through it a little bit easier than I have been doing in the past. So let me get out my little cheat sheet here that I made. Because we have a couple of specific categories that I wanted to really break it apart into to kind of make it, the TSA doesn't have the werewolf filter. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, I had been abroad actually in February and I had so many problems because my passport was so old and they're like, I'm not sure this is really you. I'm like, seriously, I'm not kidding around. Oh, yes. Oh yeah. He's in a tough spot. So when I broke these different pieces down for the Georgia case, what I found was we had so many inchoate offenses, and I've talked about this before. Our inchoate offenses are those offenses where you don't have to actually have a successful act. You just have to have the asking of the act in order to be charged. So here, what I noticed were a lot of the counts, and I just went through each count, each section that they charged. And for solicitation, we've got multiple charges, and then we have a ton of conspiracy charges and attempt. Those are all set out. And then, of course, we have Rico. But then when we look at the other charges that came out that aren't an inchoate offense, so they're not the conspiracy, it's false statements, impersonating a public officer, forgery in the first degree, which is pretty bad. That's actually a really high level charge, actually. This one's up to 15 years. I didn't realize that either. Filing false documents, influencing witnesses, and perjury. So there's really only a handful of offenses outside of these conspiracy charges. So I thought that was really interesting when we kind of broke it apart like that. Yeah. The trolls. I have the trolls joined us now that I turned on. Oh, I turned on everybody. Yeah, they're mad. Well, yeah, I know. It's frustrating sometimes, but I didn't write the indictment. This is all about the grand jury, which I have nothing but respect for. So that's how that was going. With that. Oh my gosh, today it has been a day. But I thought I would walk through what is perjury. Yeah, perjury is when you're making false statements under oath. And we had two people that are actually charged, even though we only have one set out here. But let me just pull up what the code section says about that, because I think it's really important to note. We have one person, and it's Mr. Chile. So he's the one that's been charged with perjury. And let's just get our chart out here so we can have our visual. Let me see if I can find him on here he is, Mr. Chile. And it looks like he's an attorney. He was charged because 15th of September, knowingly, willfully, and unlawfully made at least one of the following false statements before the special purpose grand jury. So he made statements in front of the grand jury she had pulled in, and those statements were false, and he was under oath when he testified. So similar to what Bill Clinton got called out on when he was called in to testify for the grand jury, and some of the statements he said were allegedly false. So this guy did kind of the same thing. I mean, the content's different, don't get me wrong, but he was charged. So that's why he's been hit with the problem. He's been hit with perjury. Yeah, I think Roger Stone is definitely playing a big role. I think it's what I found too, which was really interesting, was when we go through all of the acts that they set out for Rico, there's a bunch of the acts where it just lists unnamed people. So the people that were involved, but not named. And again, I'm wondering if some of those people that they're just named individuals. So 28, 25, 29, 28, they're playing significant roles in the acts within the Rico charge, but not specifically named. And so I keep wondering, who exactly are these individuals? They don't have to be, they don't have to be indicted. They don't have to be named. But I'm wondering how many of them are the people that were kind of like, why isn't this person been charged? That could very well be one of them. It's possible. It's absolutely possible. You'd have to throw all the mainstream media in jail. Well, if the mainstream media is under oath testifying in front of a grand jury, then yes. But if not, then no. I mean, that's what perjury is about, is you're under oath and you're making false statements. They remain anonymous indefinitely. I'm not sure how long. I think as evidence starts to come out, we'll start to be able to piece it together. But as of right now, we have no idea. I mean, we can guess, but we really don't have the backup information to corroborate who we believe they are at this point. We just don't have that information. But I think it will come out at some point. Yeah, Fox News did get sued pretty significantly. I think it was the largest lawsuit award in that situation, agreement. Yep. So when I looked through again, we've got everyone listed. All of our defendants are listed here. So each and every single one of them, and they are all charged with the Rico violation, but then they are individually charged with separate pieces. All of them were charged with some kind of a conspiracy or an attempt. And Mr. Meadows, he's involved with this phone call. That's his primary role that he played. Yeah, it was a lot. I'm not sure if Ivanka testified. That's a good question. It's a very good question. I don't know. It seems like any of them could have been called in to testify that we don't know about, for sure. Ooh, a blue moon tonight. Nice. Love that. Love that. But yeah, it's a lot. It was a lot of money. Oh, hello. Welcome. Welcome. Good to see you. So I would say Miss Ellis, she's only got a couple of charges. Mr. Meadows, he's only got 2 counts. So they're kind of on the lesser level. Now, Mr. Floyd here and Miss Cuddy, they also only have a couple of charges, but they're pretty significant. The witness issues is where they got dinged on that. But they're the only ones charged with it. And those are charges of 1 to 5 years. So those are relatively low level. I mean, not low, but compared to 20 years, lower level. But everyone else has huge batches of charges. Each and every single one of them, especially these last 4, Powell, Latham, Hall, and Hayes, because they were involved with the computer and the unlawful possession of voter ballots. So there's a lot going on with those. Who was impersonating a federal officer? Sure. So we got a public officer here. Let's talk about that. We had 3 people that were involved. So number 11, which is Mr. Schaefer. Let me get my chart out here. These were the people that came in claiming that they were electors. So these are the false electors. So Mr. Schaefer was one. And then we've got number 12, which was Mr. Still. So let's look in here. Where's Mr. Still? It's kind of like, oh, here he is. Here's the second fake elector there. I've got FE labeled for him. And then Miss Latham, which is FE here. So those are the 3 that actually went in and claimed they were the proper electors. And so by putting themselves out like that, they've been charged with impersonation of a public officer. That public officer being an official elector. That's how they got charged with it. And they got dinged quite a bit, actually. They got charged with a conspiracy also because there were 3 of them. But they added an additional 4 people charged with that conspiracy because everyone that put the plan together also got charged. So the 3 who are actually doing it got charged with impersonating, and then 7 of them got charged with the conspiracy itself in order for them to go forward and conspire to do that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I don't know. Miss Latham here, she's got a lot of charges. She was one of them that was trying to bump it up into federal court. And when I was looking through her charges, I think she's got the most out of anyone except for, she may even have more actually than Giuliani and Mr. Trump. But she got dinged really, really big here because of the work with the computers, holding out as a fake elector, all of these different conspiracy levels. So she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 conspiracy charges. She has an attempt charge, false statement charges here, an attempt to have an officer or public official to disobey their oath was another charge on top of the Rico. And then she's also got a forgery charge. So there's a lot. She got dinged pretty hard. Do the grand jury transcripts ever get released after the trial? Maybe. It's possible. It's definitely possible. We had some of the grand jury findings from the special grand jury for this case that have been released. So those findings have been released. But the transcripts themselves, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure if the transcripts will, but perhaps the findings or the process pieces of it may be released as time goes on. But it would need to be after the trial so that we didn't have some kind of bad influence. Giuliani lost his civil case today that the election workers brought. How will this affect that? Oh, great question. So Giuliani, oh my gosh, Giuliani screwed up. He screwed up bad. And I can say that comfortably because he's no longer licensed, because typically I have to be careful for licensed attorneys. But here is the order that came out from Judge Howell today. And in this order, he gave a default judgment to the petitioners. That means Giuliani didn't show up. He didn't show up. He didn't follow any of the instructions by the court. He didn't give over any discovery. And in fact, the information regarding his finances, the judge goes into and says, look, if you don't give us the information that we've been asking for since July, I'm going to tell the jury that they're pulling in just for damages, that you're trying to artificially deflate your net worth. I mean, that's pretty harsh. So the judge isn't messing around in this particular order. He's pretty messed up. Yeah, no, this is a complete default judgment because there was no compliance with any of the judge's order here. So what they asked for was a sanction. So the petitioners, the election workers, asked for sanctions because he would not turn over any of the information. So as part of the default judgment, they put in this award for attorney's fees just to go through and file the sanctions, but then also found liability for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, which is incredibly difficult to actually prove in civil court. So had he shown up and done what he needed to do on court orders, this would have been highly unlikely that they would have won this. I mean, as if you look statistically at this particular civil claim. But because he didn't, it was a default. And then civil conspiracy and punitive damages. Punitive damages are those damages that are awarded in those huge amounts, like the McDonald's case. They're meant to punish the person for bad behavior as opposed to making the petitioner whole again. So it's a completely separate kind of damages. This is what most people think of when they think of damages in civil cases, but it's actually pretty rare. So these punitive damages have also been awarded. Releasing the indictment before the grand jury even voted is convenient. Okay, so I don't have this sheet of paper at my fingertips at this point because I lost it somewhere. I put it somewhere and I can't find it. But they didn't file anything. There was an accidental clerical error, which was absolutely fine, and it happens all the time. It has no bearing whatsoever on the indictment. As a grand jury, anyone that works in the legal system knows that. So any of the media that's been talking about how that one sheet of paper got accidentally filed is completely incorrect. So there you have that. The federal system is a joke. Well, you'll have to let me know. If you ever get into the federal system, you let me know if you think it's a joke or not. I'd be interested in hearing your perspective. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, let me see if I can grab that sheet of paper real quick. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I had printed out a brand new one. Let me just print out another one here. Yeah, because it's no big secret. It's no big deal. It's just something that happens sometimes. So I'll just print out another copy here. Oh, I had it, but for some reason it just got, I had shown it so many times, it just got put away somewhere. Here we go. One moment, please, as I print out the accidental filing that happened. That was a clerical error. That was no big deal. And my printer has just run out of ink. Sorry, people. You'll just have to take my word for it. Or check out any of my other lives. Oh, my goodness. I'm telling you, this day has been something else. One of those days. Would the default judgment not open the door for a malpractice claim by Giuliani? Great question. I believe, though, the information was that he would not provide the information to his attorneys. The reason I put that out is because his attorneys aren't being sanctioned here. He's the one that's specifically being sanctioned. And in fact, they go into how he's got a couple of companies, and the court is saying, here, if you want to have your companies come in and pay for everything, that's fine. But if you don't show us evidence of your companies, then you will personally have to pay for it. So Giuliani personally will be held liable if his businesses fail to timely comply. So this judge was pretty upset about that. It is. I tell you, I've gone through more ink and packs of highlighters, even just getting ready to come today. I had just a couple more things I needed to highlight, and I completely ran out of. No, it's fine. No. Oh, Heather, you're so sweet. Oh my gosh, yes, I know. My printer. I have two printers too, actually. So I have a color printer and I have a regular printer. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can set up my other one and see if I can send it. Here we go. I might still have a little ink left in my other printer. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. No, my other one's gone too. Oh my gosh, seriously. Yeah, my printer has been has really been put through the ringer lately. So you'll have to forgive me. This will be my one night without my my clerical error sheet of paper to show you, but yeah. I'm okay with that, actually. Oh wait, look, I found it. Oh my gosh. It was buried. Oh my gosh, look at this. I just found it. Oh my gosh, everybody, tonight I tell you, it's been different. Okay, here we go. Clerical error. Woohoo! Clerical error, accidental mistake, happens all the time. And then, look, I even tagged out the page in our rules here. Harmless and plain error. So if there's an error, defect, irregularity, or a variance, it doesn't affect the substantial rights in the situation. So we even have a rule saying we can have clerical errors. So there you go. I found it. Oh, goodness. Yes, I know. I think that would have been driving me bonkers all night. I'm just, I'm a little bit out of sorts tonight. Forgive me, but there you go. Clerical error. Let me know. Need both sides tab stickers. Yes, I know, I do. I am just buried in paperwork. You know, I'm such a visual person. I have to have everything really tabbed out, and which is great unless I don't put it back. And, you know, my poor paralegals. Oh, you believe me? Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Yes. Well, you have fun too with the homework. This is an important time. It only comes, you know, for a brief period. So you enjoy that time with your family. I love that. Absolutely. All right. So where were we? We were talking about all the different charges here. And then we talked about Giuliani. Yeah, Giuliani's in some trouble. He is absolutely in some pretty significant trouble. Yeah, they really are. I know. It's awful. But, all right. So, as I was going through this again, we've got a couple of the impersonating public officers cases where we've got 7. But if you look, we've got about 4 or 5 charges where there are 7 or more people charged. Now, we've got a total of 19, and they've all been broken up into different pieces. But when we've got big pieces like this, where we've got 7 or more people that have been charged, those are those huge conspiracy issues. And they go really, really far into the amount of people that are involved in it. Yeah, the Rico charge is pretty significant because all of these people played different roles in the common goal. And the common goal was to remain in office, even though the votes did not support that. That's the assertion that the DA is putting out. If we go into just the very first page here, we can she talks about that, about how the enterprise was they unlawfully conspired to conduct and participate in a criminal enterprise in Georgia and elsewhere in order to maintain or retain power. And it was an ongoing organization. Members and associates functioned as a continuing unit. And again, it's this language here that makes it the Rico charge. Common purpose, achieving the objective. And if we flip this over, we get into the manner and methods. So she lists out the false statements that were made to multiple state legislatures, including Georgia, the solicitation of high-ranking state officials like the Secretary of Georgia, the creation and distribution of the documents. These are those huge falsifying and forged documents. Harassment of witnesses also was included in there. Soliciting the vice president, which is seen as a bad act, and so another act that's part of the conspiracy. And then high officials in the Justice Department, a breach of election equipment as well. So that's all of the computer issues in Coffee County. And then last, obstructive acts in furtherance of the conspiracy and a cover-up. So all of those things together created this common objective that they were working towards, which was maintaining continuing power after the election. Yeah, her acts were, they're set out. They're incredibly well organized. And a lot of the acts, there's 161 total, and many of them coincide with all of the rest of the counts. So we've got 40 additional counts on top of the Rico charge, and each one of those counts is included as part of the bad acts. Boop, boop. Boop, the screen. Oh, that's funny. That's so funny. Yes, hello. Welcome, Jordy. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, it's been very interesting actually pulling everything apart and assigning everybody to the different situations. Do you have a theory why Cheesebro and Powell want a speedy trial? Sure. So I think, and let's just get a visual again of who we're talking about when we're talking about these two people. So Powell was part of the Coffee County situation and the unlawful possession of ballots. She was involved in that. And so the other one, which was it Sheely? Was it Sheely was the other one? Who was the other one again? Sorry about that. I just forgot off the top of my head. Safe space. Yes, please. Yeah, be kind, or at least just quiet if you don't want to be kind. That's fine. But I would say anyone who's asking for a speedy is, I've talked about this before, that usually speedies are when you're actually in prison or in jail. I apologize, but in jail waiting for trial. And so you're like, hey, I want out. But these people are not. And so it can definitely be seen as a power play to try to push them. Cheesebro, thank you. Chili and Cheesebro. Sorry, I get those two mixed up a little bit. So this fella and then this lady. So both of these are trying to get in to speedy. And I thought there was one more. But again, I think it's just trying to push the prosecutor into hurrying up and trying to force their hand. Most prosecutors, when they bring a case like this, have a long period of time in order to present everything. But by claiming speedy or saying we want speedy, they're forcing the prosecutor into court, which can make them rush their case. But in this particular situation, we've got years of putting this case together. So in the end, it's seen in the legal field, we're kind of viewing it as more harmful to the defendants because they're having less time to put their defense together. Now, they've set it for October, and the DA has asked for everyone to go in October. She's asked for a special trial date, and we'll see if that happens or not, but I'm not sure. Okay, if speedy trial cannot be conducted, the charges can be dismissed. Right, well, that's part of your constitutional right to have a speedy trial. So if your speedy trial isn't done within whatever time period is set out for speedy, and it depends on your jurisdiction, it depends on the case. But if you don't get that case brought to trial and finished, yes, all the charges can be dismissed. But the prosecutors keep such a close eye on that because the worst thing possible would be for your case to get kicked out because you missed the deadline. So the prosecutor, the judge, defense counsel, everyone knows what those dates are, what those hard dates are for speedy, and they keep them in mind pretty carefully. So it's not something that can kind of get snuck by or like pushed under the radar. I mean, everybody's fully aware of when speedy will run, and they're very careful about those dates. Powell's going to face a real... Yeah, we'll see. I mean, she's got a lot of charges. She really has a lot of charges. If you look in here, she's got the Rico charge. She has 3 conspiracy charges, and then she's got fraud and fraudulent forgery situations as well with her counts. So she's looking at quite a few counts. She was involved in quite a bit with that coffee situation, so she's going to get dinged on that. Didn't Fani file something asking for 19? Yes, she did. Her latest request to the judge was asking for the trial to be set at a special date. So here's the order here. State's motion to specially set a trial. You can see my printer. Seriously, my printer is like, let me go in peace. But she has asked for all 19 defendants to go on October 23rd. Now, I've not seen an order yet from the judge, but she has requested it. So she's ready to go. She's ready to take all of them into trial and go forward on it. So she's, I think, trying to kind of head off all of the various speedy requests by putting that motion in. Why wait so long for the charges? Well, you got to make sure you've got everything put together properly. It takes a while. I mean, this case is so complicated with so many levels. And, you know, also I try to remind people that when we've got, sorry, I've got to click something here on my computer. When you've got this level that's required for, sorry, here we go. Probable cause is all that's needed. This is only a tiny bit of the evidence that she's got. She's got a ton more evidence. So for her, she just put out what she needed in order to properly get that grand jury indictment. But all the rest of the evidence that she's been collecting and sorting and putting together, all of that's going to take time in order for her to get it properly filed. Yep. Let's talk about Ellis and how much lawyer fees might be and how the heck anyone can afford it. Nobody can afford it. I mean, unless you're wealthy. For these levels, for these kinds of cases, this is a classic white collar crime situation. And when you're dealing with a Rico, you're dealing with huge amounts of people with lots of money, typically in a Rico scenario. So, I mean, there's an enterprise with a common cause. I don't know how she's going to afford it. I don't know how anyone who is not, you know, a multi-millionaire, billionaire is going to be able to pay for this. Yeah, I mean, if they've got money, they're fine. But if you don't, if you got caught up in it, and that's what seems to have happened with several of these people, is they got caught up in this scheme, essentially, is what they're putting in the indictment. Those aren't my words. But to put together these false documents and the false electors, if you got caught up in it in your local, you know, you're in a mess. Like Miss Latham, especially, that's a mess. And I don't know Miss Latham, but she's, you know, we're not talking about someone who's at a high level, you know, running a law school like some of the other people here, where we're talking about high levels of money. So those are the defendants that are really going to have some troubles, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think Ellis has money either, Susan. I think you're right. I don't think she does either. I mean, it's unfortunate when you get tangled up into something like this. I mean, life's about choices. I get that. But also, When you've got unlimited resources, essentially, you know, you can kind of push that envelope. But when you don't and you get tangled up in this, you know, it's a lot of damage to a lot of people. You heard Peter Navarro on TV begging for money. Okay, yeah. I mean, oh, she's asking for money. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm absolutely not surprised in this situation. Can give his has a great video about the law that could remove fawning. Yeah, now, yeah, he did a great job. I wonder where my sticky note is. I tell you, today has been the day where I have just, my organization skills are struggling. But yeah, he's out there. I will, after my live, I'll have to make sure I add him on. But yeah, I don't know where my sticky note went. He did a great video on that. Yeah, the whole name is kind of hard. I think it's number 7. I know that's in it somewhere. Hold on, I can't even just pass it by. I have to find the answer. Sorry, 1 minute, please, while I pull up. While I pull up his name. I make statements like, oh, I have no idea. And then I'm like, I got to figure this out. I can't go forward without knowing. I've got to pull up his name here. Hold on 1 moment, please. Let me see if I can find it. Search Hawkeye Whack-A-Mole. Oh my gosh. Is that, I think that's his YouTube, isn't it? Okay, here we go. Let me just get my sticky note out so I can get this for you here. Here we go. Oh, okay. Here we go. I can't leave anybody hanging. I've got to get the info to you. Okay, so that's the beginning. Oh, let me just pull up his account real quick. Okay, here we go. And then, oh my goodness. There we go. That's his full name. That's one word. Yes. He's, yeah, and he's done a great video on several different pieces of the law. It's under my papers. Is it? No, that's just a sticky note. Shoot. I'm so disorganized today. But yeah, he's done a great video on Only One C. On, yeah, okay. Sorry. Here we go. He's done a great video on Georgia. Highly recommend. He's done great work. He's done great work with regards to that. Whack-A-Mole. Right. You can find him there as well, the Whack-A-Mole, and that's probably even easier to find than my scrawled sticky note. For sure. But he's done a great job. Yes, I've noticed that too. Caffeine Cowboy, it's amazing how many folks are serving January 6th time. Yeah, it's true. There were a lot of people that were sentenced. A lot of people had house arrest. A lot of times for the lesser offense, like going into trespassing was essentially one of the biggest charges, was going into areas you weren't authorized to be in. That was what the charges were. In those kinds of cases, it was fines, it was house arrest, it was probation. But some people who did a lot of damage and harmed a lot of people, they actually got some significant prison time. Oh, hello, Lisa. Hello, welcome. Yes, thank you, Suze. You got it. Yeah, if you could pin that, that would be great. I would appreciate that. Yeah, he is biased. Yeah, which is, fine. Everybody's a little bit different. I just don't, I don't have any, I just don't go down those roads myself. There's plenty of people that do, which is fine, but I'm just not, myself. So he does. Yeah, we'll need to invite him in sometimes. Yeah, he's biased, but he's hilarious. I agree. Sometimes, I think it's okay to get different perspectives. I try to get a little bit of perspective from everybody. And so I think he's definitely got some interesting points, but I've seen a lot of interesting points. Oh, Sue, thank you so much. Yeah, he is, and that's okay. I think I'm just not, that's just not how I go about it, but that's fine. I don't have any, personally, it doesn't bother me one bit, one way or the other, but oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Desert Skies. I hear ya. Nothing better than someone who can do. Yes. I agree. I agree. His punchlines are just, sometimes you just need that. Sometimes you need, there's all kinds of that. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. But when he talks about the law, he does a great job. And I think that's great. I think the whole point of different kinds of content is you can just pick what you like and toss out the rest. So that's how I view things as well. Like whatever information is helpful, just grab it. But if it's not, just pass it on by. There were lots of false statements. I saw a comment on the false statements here. And there were lots because we had the false documents that were put together. We also had the false statements that were made to the Georgia Judiciary Committee and to Georgia House members. So all of those statements and writings have been charged because of the circumstances that they were made in. So there's actually quite a lot. If we go through them, we can look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different counts involving false statements. And false statements have a specific code section. So it's not just, hey, you can say whatever you want. There is a code section that was violated because of the circumstances of the statements. So that's why they were charged. Boop, boop. Oh my goodness. Oh, the boops. We love the boops. Oh my goodness. Yes. I have been putting together some of the Georgia code. Now, I don't have all of it put together quite yet, so I can't really present it yet. But I do want to do, and I'll probably go into it tomorrow, is when I usually go on live. Tonight's just a little bit of a bonus, just for fun, because I just needed to hop on and say hi to everybody. But I will go through the specific code sections that everyone was charged with, and I will go through those false statements in particular, those different code sections that were charged as being violated. So, and I'll also be going through the different conspiracies. That's really the key here, are all of the conspiracies that were involved, not just the things themselves. The false statements were made, but then we also have the conspiracy for the false statements. That's what led to so many charges in the situation. I did, Desert Skies. I needed to say hello. Oh, for sure. I wanted to say hi and see how everyone was doing. Yeah, a pipe burst on election night and caused the vote to pause. Exactly. Lots of those kinds of things. And when you make those statements in front of a legislative body and ask them to act based on those statements, those false statements, there's consequences. And that was really it, was they were saying information that was clearly false, that had been proven false, and then asking the House and the Senate to come in and change what was going on. Blue, hello. Hi, welcome. Alleged, yes. Well, probable caused. At this point, but we certainly do not have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. We've just got this very interesting scenario here with 19 people charged, 42 charges, 161 bad acts. So there's that. Innocent until proven guilty. That's correct. That is the standard that we use. Absolutely. Yeah, Rico came in pretty significantly. Again, 161 acts, that's a lot. If you need 2 or more in order to show a Rico situation. So, we've got 161 to choose from. So that's quite a bit. Do you think we'll get a transcript? I have been searching, and I'm not sure at this point if we're going to get a transcript. If we do, it's not going to be for a while. I think we've got a lot of different media sources who are in the room who've kind of taken notes, and that seems to really be the best that we can find right now. But, I guess I have a hard time, not that I don't trust them, but because I personally wasn't there, I would prefer to have something more official for a transcript, but I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon. But it'd be interesting. It'd be very interesting to have that information. Yeah, Deborah, you're right. The evidence really speaks for itself. And, that's what's so interesting, too, is, again, we've only got just the very tip of the iceberg here when we're dealing with these charges, all we needed was probable cause. And so she didn't put out all of these other emails that have been coming out, all this other information that we're slowly kind of starting to see come out. There's a ton more. This, again, was only what was needed for probable cause. So, oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet of you. But we will see. Why did they delay the sentencing? Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Abigail. I had heard that was in the works for today. So was it today? I think it was today. I don't know. My day's been bonkers, but I'm not sure. Judge was sick. Okay. Well, yeah, that would make sense. Ooh, that would be rough. Oh, can you imagine being the judge in that situation and being so sick you couldn't come in for sentencing? I can't even imagine. That would be huge. If the October cases are won by the prosecution, does that help the later cases? Oh, thank you. Absolutely, it does. Absolutely. I would say it definitely helps the later cases, but it also shows if the prosecution loses, it shows the prosecution where their weak links are in their case. So that can help the prosecutor even if they lose. So either way, if they lose, they've got a couple of people who were pushed to go forward and, we're done. But the ones that were not included in that, then you would get the benefit of seeing where the problems are in your case. But I'm not sure if that's really going to happen because she is asking that they all be done together. So I'm not sure. So with these changes in the guidelines, how do they determine if it's 1 or 5? That's a good question, Robin. And, Georgia, I was looking at that myself. And Georgia's got an interesting gap. I mean, if you look 5 to 20 years, that's a huge, huge gap. Typically, what happens when we go into sentencing is that there's a pre-sentence investigation done after you're found guilty before you're sentenced. So people come in, they do interviews, they look into your past, they look into your crimes, they look into the situation, and then they make a recommendation to the judge. Now, by having this huge of a gap between minimum and maximum gives the judge a lot of leeway, but it's huge. I mean, and we've got one here that's 1 to 15 years, and these are for the forgery cases. So that's a lot of time, and it's really going to depend on what that investigation shows. Coffee County voting machine breaches. Yes, Pilar. I've got that. I've actually got that on my list also to watch. I've got that one, and then there's one with Roger Stone, and I want to really take a look at both of those. I may try to watch that before I come on live again tomorrow. Always learning. Yes, always learning is good. Continuances by defendants will be filed. Absolutely. It would definitely be in their best interest to really drag it out. These charges seem like a defense attorney's nightmare. I think for defense counsel who haven't handled these kinds of charges before, it's going to be a learning curve, and you really don't want to learn on the job when you're doing these kinds of cases. But, it is also, we're not dealing with forcible felony situation either. They are felonies, but we're not dealing with something like a burglary or so on. So, I think it's going to be easier to figure out. If guilty, what type of sentence would be considered for an 80-year-old? Whatever's appropriate. I had put in a little chart here of how many years for each charge, depending on what it is. When the conspiracy charges are dinged in here, that's up to half of what the original sentence would be. It's because it's an inchoate offense. But if we're just looking at the minimum 5 years for that Rico and nothing else, although that's, it looks like minimum 1 year for almost everything else. But, that's still a lot of time. That'll definitely be taken into consideration. You're not going to be looking at maximum here, but those minimums are going to come in. There is a little bit of wiggle room according to the Georgia Code, but there's going to be some time involved. Even if you're 80 years old, I mean, that's just kind of the nature of the system. It's like we can take certain things into consideration, but in the end, you do the crime, you do the time, and the time was set out by the statutes. They can't go by age, otherwise the 80-year-old should know better not to commit crimes. That's a good point. You raise a valid point, Lisa. You raise a very valid point. How about while the appeal is going? Yes, so you can be sentenced just like any other defendant. You can be sentenced, and all of the procedures that would go along after sentencing still continue to happen even though you're on appeal. The appeal doesn't stop the process. Like there can be some things that will toll the statute or stop what's happening in the moment, but an appeal is not one of those things. Lots of people are appealing while they're in prison, and those appeals can go for years and years. So you still have to go forward with what's happening in the lower court, and that's statutory as well as case law. Let's see what I get here. I'm sorry, I missed a couple of you here. They can remove funny. It's unlikely. They have to really show some pretty good cause under the statute that they would be using. So it's possible, but unlikely that they would have enough cause in this particular situation. She's pretty careful about, watching where she's at, recognizing that statute when it came down and when they passed it, what that could mean for her. So I've got no doubt she's got things set up just in case something does go sideways on that. Have you seen the 14th Amendment case in Florida? I have. I thought about talking about it, but it's not the best. It's not the best petition I've seen. No offense to the attorney that filed it, but there's some mistakes. Just some, in my humble opinion, some mistakes for someone who is not a constitutional law attorney, which most aren't because that's more of your appellate jurisdiction. But your bread and butter everyday attorney is not going to have extensive knowledge on the Constitution. And so it seems as though this question came up and he was like, hey, let's file something. And that's fine, but it's a bit sloppy in my opinion, which is also fine, but not something that I really want to spend too much time on because I feel like that's really not the best presentation of the arguments for the 14th. That's my opinion of it. So I've not really brought that out to talk about. I'm kind of waiting. To see if other people kind of come in. I'm not familiar with how a grand jury works, but did attorneys for the 19 get to speak during it? Jordy, great question. No. Our grand juries are only for the prosecutor to present evidence. They do that because typically in order to go forward on most indictments, all you need is the prosecutor filing something called a trial information, unless it's a felony or your constitution says otherwise in your state. But all you need is probable cause. So the grand jury comes in and they have to decide whether or not there's probable cause a particular person committed a particular crime. Then the indictment goes forward. Probable cause is also what we need for our warrants. So we technically don't have a defendant until after the grand jury indicts. So there's no need for a counsel or for attorneys because a defendant has not been indicted yet. So only one side is needed at that point. Yeah, just probable cause. And again, probable cause isn't just probable cause, but it's less than beyond reasonable doubt. When we're dealing with a standard of proof that high, absolutely both sides need to come in and defense counsel needs to be involved. But if you are just looking at indictments at this level, probable cause is all that you need. Is filing documents with information you think is true a false statement? We've got different levels of mens rea for that. So let me clarify. I would think probably one of the best cases that just came out of the U.S. Supreme Court talks about intent and whether or not intent is subjective or objective. If you think a particular document is true, but a reasonable person would have recognized it was not true based on the information they had, then you have still violated the law by filing it. It has to do with, would a normal person, a regular, reasonable person, have believed that those documents were false? And if the answer to that is yes, then you can get dinged on it, or a reckless disregard for the truth. So we've got different standards when looking at it. So it's not just like, I wholly with my heart truly believe this document is correct and I filed it. No, it's not just about that. It's about, look at what's in this document. Look at this information. Look at the knowledge you had. And based off of that, was it reasonable for you to believe that that information was actually correct? Those are questions for a jury. Questions for a jury, not questions that we can answer ourselves when it comes to that level of mens rea. Boy, I went off on that. Sorry about that. Here I am. I'm coming back. to the comments. But great question. I think that's great. Just so long as it serves a purpose. I think this is something. Get a load of those. Yeah, I'm not sure really what you mean on that. Sorry about that. If someone has 13 counts, all are found guilty. Is that a minimum of 13 years? Plus Rico, yes. Yes. I think technically, yes, you could say that because each one is one minimum. There are a couple that are up to a year maximum, but the Rico is 5. So you would add 5 to the Rico and then plus the ones, and you got it. Yeah, excellent. You got it. Yep. Can you talk about the Westfall Act? Oh, I don't know about the Westfall Act off the top of my head at the moment. I remember as a teenager testifying in front of a grand jury for a robbery, but not the actual trial. Yes, and that can happen. Yeah, George, exactly. You can be called in and the jury may not find there to be probable cause. And if there's not probable cause, then they don't go forward with the indictment at that point. And that's why we bring in our grand jury. Sometimes we need to have that impartial set of people to make that determination. Okay, hold on here. Let me just look this up real quick. What was it? The Westfall Act. Federal Employees Liability Reform and Tort Compensation Act. Let's see. Modifying the Federal Tort Claim Act to protect federal employees from common law tort lawsuits. Wow, I cannot talk about that. I can learn about that and then talk about it, but I do not know much about that statute whatsoever. But I'm glad you told me about it. It looks very interesting. Okay, here we go. Let me back up a little bit. Sorry about that. How will this affect the election? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I think the people who are wanting to vote for Mr. Trump will vote for Mr. Trump. I think the people who are undecided are the people who will need to make the determination that is it necessary that it's the content of the charges that are the issue or the fact that he's been charged at all in multiple jurisdictions in multiple states. And can he do the job while he's in the middle of ongoing criminal investigations? Like a lot of them. This is going to take years. All of these cases, it's going to take years to finish, but we can get them started and get things going now. So the question really is, are you okay voting for someone who is being tried in multiple jurisdictions for a ton of felonies? Are you okay with that? If you're okay with that, then, fine, go forward and vote based off of what you think is best. But if you're not okay with that, that's really what it comes down to is what is your alternate then? What's the alternative to it? So again, it's the question, is it the content? Is it like, oh, well, he really thought this was all okay? Or is it the fact that he's actually been charged with all of these felonies? That's the issue. So that's something I really don't know. I really don't know how people are going to come down on that. There's never a trial because defendants took a plea. I wish you had a Discord page. I have been slowly just looking into that. Slowly. When does conspiracy turn into Rico? Does organization have to be explicit? Great question. And the Rico statute in Georgia specifies what they want for their organization requirements. So that is set out here. So corrupt organizations is all specified within the statute. You can have a RICO charge because of how the organization is defined, but then also be charged with multiple counts of conspiracy, which is what's happened here. So it's two separate roads. The RICO road is its own entity, and everything else, all of the acts involved in the RICO are also charges in their own right. So it's two paths to go down. That level of organization that's required for RICO has to be proved for RICO. But for conspiracy, you do not need that same level of organization in order to prove a conspiracy charge. Yep. What would preclude moving the case to federal court? Well, I mean, they're all Georgia statutes. This is Georgia law. This is violations of Georgia law. There are no federal law violations here. Every single charge has a Georgia state code section that's been violated. all of the crimes took place in Georgia, essentially, for jurisdiction. So for this to be moved to federal court is only because people are claiming they were federal employees and doing things within the scope of their job. But none of these charges have federal code sections. Now, don't get me wrong, the DC case that has been filed is its own case. And there's some overlap. There absolutely is overlap. But Georgia is filing their own code sections. So, we have the DC case going, but we also have all of these violations in Georgia. So to take it away from Georgia is to take it out of the hands of the people who were harmed, who are claiming their code sections were violated. That's why it's, good to kind of look at the scope situation that's going on. I mean, what's really going on here? We've got Georgia cases, we've got federal cases, but sorry, technical issues. Hold on. One moment, please. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness gracious tonight, I tell ya. But anyway, so that's what I would say about that is, we do have Georgia code violations. And specifically, too, if you look at it, one of the biggest ones was that phone call to the Secretary of State. That was huge. And it's not the only thing, because they also have Coffee County, where the machines and the voter data was hijacked. But, this is Georgia. It's their right to be able to hold someone accountable for violating their laws. That's how I view it, at least. But we do have a statute that says if you are a federal employee, if MM wins and his case is moved to federal court, will all 19 be moved or just his? Only his. He's the only one. Only the people who ask and are granted can have it moved. It won't move as a batch. That's why, too, I think this is a really good point. Let me grab the other indictment real quick. If you think about it, this shows a little bit into Jack's rationale. If you look at the DC case, we only have one defendant, right? So we don't have a whole list of all of these attorneys with all of these pretrial motions and all of these things that they're trying to file. We've got one defendant and his attorneys. Same kind of facts, a little bit different, a lot of additions, but we've got one defendant. Meanwhile, in Georgia, they have all these defendants. Each one of them can file for speedy. Each one of them can file to move it to federal court. So you've got 19 different working, moving parts in this indictment. And it's a bit of a mess because of that. So you can kind of see the reason why he only charged one defendant here. Because again, there are a lot of people involved, but it keeps it nice and clean. And it keeps it easier for him, technically, to keep everything going, because now one or two people could have it moved to federal court, or a couple of people could ask for speedy. There's no way to really pull all of these 19 people together and force them to do the same thing. Another legal expert said Georgia law would apply. The case would just be heard in federal court. Yeah, exactly. That's correct. It's all violations of Georgia law. The prosecutor would be the same. The Georgia law sections would be the same. The penalties would all be served in Georgia. The only thing that would be different would be you'd have a bigger jury pool, and it'd be technically in federal court. So it would be bumped up into the federal court, but that's just a technical move. But it is federal law. Again, the penalties are all, it is Georgia law. The penalties would all be Georgia. And it's just because we've got that piece of a code stating that a federal employee can bump it into federal court, which, maybe the attorneys would be more comfortable in federal court. His attorneys would be. But that's pretty much it. The jury pool and bumping it into a more formal court, and we wouldn't have any of the public access to it that we have in Georgia. Will you go over the New York case? I can. I've got some information. I haven't spent too much time on it because it's got some sensitive issues involved, so I haven't really spent too much time on it, but I can. You can message me. I have my messages open for people if you want to message me if you've got questions. You're amazing, Dee. Thanks for all of your hard work. Oh, Tara, you're welcome. I'm happy to be here and answer questions as best as I can. I do try. Mark Meadows did a number on all the co-conspirators. He did indeed. And again, he also, he's got 2 charges. He's got the Rico, and then he's got that call to the secretary. That's what he's getting dinged on. And, that same set of facts, those same facts are the same facts as in the DC case, but he's not been charged as a defendant. So we've got those unnamed co-conspirators in this case. So you're kind of wondering, like, whatever he does in this Georgia case is going to come into the DC case as well. And that includes everything that he is saying and doing with regards to his co-defendants. What is the Georgia Rico success? It's pretty high, actually. She's got a really good record when it comes to these Rico cases. This is one of those things that she's really, this is one of her fortes, from what my understanding is. You don't get brain freeze with all this information. I do. I lose things. Like, I lose my paperwork, or my highlighters dry out. I forget to get new ones. I'm a bit of a absent-minded. Other things are out of my brain that I probably should know, that I don't have in my brain because I have all these indictments in my brain. So there's that. Oh my goodness, 11 or 12. Yeah, I think so. You think Cheesebro will get the grand jury transcripts opened? That's a great question. I'm not sure that would be beneficial to him to have those available to the public. I'm really not sure. I think there's a lot more information that we just don't have, that we may not really need to have or should have at this point. It could definitely be a bit prejudicial, in my humble opinion, because again, I think there's a lot of information that's not been included in the actual indictment itself. Okay, will all jurors be from Georgia in federal court? Yes, they will all be whatever circuit covers the area that Georgia is in, will be the same group of jurors that would be involved. So here we've got Fulton County. Fulton is the court here. So everyone would come from this jury pool. But if you bump it to federal court, it's going to be a larger set of people. There'll be more counties involved in a broader area that particular federal circuit covers. So you'll have more people, but they'll be from a larger place, but all from Georgia. They'll all be from Georgia. If he's found not guilty on the second charge, can he still be found guilty for Rico? Oh, yes, absolutely. None of these cases, are completely interdependent on each other. They can each go separately. Some can be found, some cannot be found. So by losing one of these will not knock out the rest of these. And again, if you think about this Rico case, 2 or more bad acts, and out of 161, maybe none of the bad acts that the jury finds are one of the other counts. That's fine. They don't have to. Or maybe they find there wasn't an organization, but yet there was, all of these other kinds of conspiracies that were involved, and forgeries and attempts and false statements. And so they convict on all of these other charges, but maybe not Rico. They're really not woven together like that. They can be completely separate. Let me see. Sorry about that. I'm scrolling back. Boy, I've been going off on tangents tonight. Sorry, everybody. Oh, do you think that's why he's trying to get it moved? He might have worked out a deal with the feds. Some people think so, but honestly, I'm not really sure. And after the hearing that was on Monday, I'm not really sure. Based off of a lot of the information that he shared freely and openly and was cross-examined about, that's not going to help him in federal court whatsoever. It seems like he's kind of shown his hand, actually, in federal court to the federal court. So the federal court, if they were to try to give him some kind of immunity or kind of work out a deal with him, like, he's already given it all away. I'm not really sure how that would be beneficial to him. But I think the bigger jury pool may be a consideration. I think, honestly, he just wants to bump it out of Georgia. I think he thinks that maybe if he's in federal court, he's got a better chance, just based off of it being more, there's more pomp and circumstance in the federal court. His attorneys may be more comfortable in federal court, those kinds of things. But Yeah, I'm not sure. What does a judgment with prejudice and without prejudice mean? Sure, if you get a judgment or if you get an order with prejudice, it means you cannot refile it. If you get it without prejudice, it means you can refile it once you fix what you need to fix. So it's basically like if you give your paper to your teacher and your teacher's like, go revise this and give it back. You can turn it back in versus, this is your final grade. You're getting a 0. So that's kind of how that is. Yeah, Ines, I can take a look at that New York case. I might need to set up a specific time to just do the New York case. And so I'll probably put a post up on when I'll do that. I'm really not prepared to do it tomorrow at my usual time, but yeah, I can do the New York case for you, sure. Federal cannot be pardoned because this is all Georgia laws. He would be convicted under Georgia law, which means the only way he could get pardoned would be through the Georgia process, which is their legislature, I believe, not even their governor. So he would not qualify for a federal pardon, even if he goes to federal court, because this is Georgia law. Just clarification on that. Yeah. Can we get into the documents? I'm kind of just going through the information tonight, just kind of doing some broad overviews of questions with the documents. I'm not going to read specifically through the documents tonight, just because I think a lot of people have heard it before many times. I do have a full reading of this indictment. Actually, I think I've got it twice up on my YouTube channel, if you want to take a look at that and hear the full indictment. Is there anything not highlighted? Well, actually, I kind of ran out of ink. So honestly, there are a few pieces like here. I think I ran out of some highlighter there. But no, I've got different meanings for different pieces when it comes to the code sections and who was charged and the date they were charged. So yeah, that's how my brain works. I'm just a very visual person. Yeah, they waived reading the indictment. Yeah, and I don't think actually, that's pretty typical. I mean, that's a pretty typical thing to waive. It's not, that would be very unusual for a 100-page indictment to actually be read. Explain the color coding? Sure. Okay. All right, I can do that. Only the parole board can pardon. Okay, great. Sure, James. Yeah, I'm not 100% how they do it there in Georgia. But yeah, that sounds right, actually. I was thinking of the legislature for the pulling the DA. But yeah, I think you're right. Waived you reading it. Oh, I think so. I've read it. I think I've read it 4 times now total, I think. Oh, that's so funny. Can't be pardoned from a Rico. Right. That's a good point too. Yep. Okay. So let me explain my colors. So always I have my parties in pink. So all the defendants' names are all in pink. Each defendant I've numbered out here so that I can add the number to the charge. So whatever numbers are over here are the people who are charged with this particular violation. And then after that, I broke down the Rico is orange, and then solicitation, all of the solicitation offenses are purple. So if there's anything highlighted in purple, that means that they are solicitation. Conspiracy is a blue square, so all the conspiracies are squares. And that way too, when it matched up to the charges, any of the square boxes means there's a conspiracy over there. Green is always the code section for Georgia. And then false statements, which are impeachable offenses on cross-examination. That's how my brain works. So that's why I put them in a red box, because you could use these to cross-examine someone. That probably doesn't make sense to anybody who's not an attorney. But all of those are in squares. And then attempts are another type of inchoate offense, and they merge into the actual offense themselves. So they're highlighted in pink. And then any of our public officers and our oaths, those are blue and purple, just to pull that information out as well. Now, these last bits, like the theft, trespass, and invasion of privacy, because they're computer crimes, are all circled. And then the fraud themselves are also in pink. So that's just how my system worked. And then I was able to just move those colors over into the different numbers of counts. So anything red circle is a fraud or a false statement. The squares are any of the conspiracy. Any of the pink lines are attempts, and the purples are the violation of oaths. So there you have it in a nutshell. That's my system. That's a lot. Yeah. Circle gets the square. Yeah, if there's a conspiracy, but there's a false statement that was made as part of the conspiracy, then you get doubled. Oh my gosh, I don't know. That might be a little too much for everybody. Yeah, I think when you do it for so long, it really doesn't take too long. I just did this over my lunch hour today. For me, it just goes real quick once you do it for long enough. Which ones are federal employees? Yeah, great question. I think that'll need to be determined later on. I think it's easier to look at the picture. Actually, I've got the big picture charts, and you can kind of see the fake electors that were labeled as opposed to the attorneys that were involved and some of the federal workers. So I think it's easier to tell by the picture who was working for whom than it is to actually look at the charges. The method of madness. Yeah, it is. It's just for fun. I need another color pen. Actually, I was struggling because I needed to put my key in for how many years each one was. And so that was my last thing. And I was like, I've used all my colors. I'm not sure what to do. So that's why I had to do the strikes and the stars. Will all the attorneys be disbarred if convicted? One would hope so. Because if you're convicted of any of these charges, those are some significant ethical violations. I mean, significant. It seems like several of them already have been dinged by their bar associations, which is appropriate. But I think if they are actually found guilty and they're still licensed to practice, and I don't know which ones are and which ones aren't, but we've got some huge ethical issues with that. Absolutely. Absolutely. The Brady Bunch. You have a new pen tonight. Oh yes, this one's a good one. I've got several. I think this one is I don't know where this one was. I'm not sure where I got this. I think I just grabbed it from somewhere. Started an Amazon wish list. Oh, that's so sweet. I've got plenty. I just need to it's just a matter of time of actually going and getting them and bringing them. That's what my world is like. Whatever's closest to me is what I use. So pretty good, but that's so sweet. That's so sweet. I appreciate that. Yeah, this one is pretty nice. Yeah, my pens have run out of ink. My highlighters, I've lost all my ink. I don't think that's ever happened before, except for when I was in law school. I think that was the only time. You can see my highlighters starting to fade. Oh my goodness. Yes, but I'm really just a really super visual person. I really need that. Oh, that's okay, sister girl. Welcome. I have to break things apart. That's, my brain just doesn't work otherwise. Because if I see something like this is so much information. Code sections, here's the conspiracy section, here's the false document section. So who was charged? So all the people here are charged. And then specifically, this is a filing as opposed to a false statement. It's a false document. So, and then the 2 X's mean that we've got up to 10 years. So that just helps me, sort everything out. It makes it easier for me. And I guess I'm just used to being able to pull stuff out quick in court. If the judge asks you a question like, well, what are the elements to whatever, or what do you have to say about that, counselor? You want to be able to be, oh, here it is, number 18, there's the X, there's the, so you know exactly what you're looking for when you're in court so that the judge doesn't ding you too hard. Oh, yes. It's a process. I'm not sure I'd recommend it for everyone, but it works for me. Oh, yes. Conference. Yes, I got a conference pen tote. I used to carry it. Someone needs a pen. Yes. Can you define co-conspirator in regards to the law and the consequences? Sure. So the code sets out, the Georgia code here is what we're dealing with. So they set out what it takes. And in order to be a co-conspirator, it means you 2 or more people are taking substantial or overt acts, substantial steps in order to complete an illegal act. That's what a conspiracy is. So as long as you've got 2 or more people. So let's look at this one. We've got conspiracy to commit impersonating a public officer. This is the impersonating a public officer code section. So that's a violation. You can see right here. Only 3 people are charged with that because 3 people actually did that crime. But 7 people were involved in creating the situation so that these 3 people could commit the crime. So you just need to show they're taking substantial steps for preparation. They're contacting each other, emails, they're making plans, setting up dates, times, how they're going to go about doing it. All of those things can be seen as overt acts or substantial steps towards the end result, which is the illegal act. So that's what makes the conspiracy, is this agreement. So that's also why it's an inchoate offense in criminal court, meaning you don't have to have the actual act itself, although here they did, but you don't have to have the act being successful. You have to have the agreement to the act in order to be charged with the conspiracy. That's the key. Yes. Are there attempted charges there in the case? The actual charges failed. Yes. Yes, there are. Let me just show you because of my color coding system here. We had a criminal attempt to commit influencing the witness. So here we've got 2 separate instances where they tried to influence this witness, but the witness said, no, I'm not going to do it. So that attempt failed. We also have this attempted writing, which failed. So it wasn't actually a false statement that was used for a crime because it was a fail as well. We also have an attempt to file a false document. The document itself was not filed. It was attempted to be filed, and that's what they were charged with. So those are a couple. And then I thought I had one more. Where was it? Well, maybe that was it. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like there are 4 specific attempts involved, but multiple conspiracies as well. And then we even have the third inchoate offense, which is the solicitation. So, I mean, we've got all 3. It's a trifecta. Oh, sure. Oh, I'm happy to. I hope I'm educating in some way. I hope this is making sense to people who are interested. I really hope so. Oh, my goodness. Oh, thank you, Scott. Oh, my gosh. That's so nice of you to say. I appreciate that. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Do you think this case starts on schedule? Does it get split? I don't know. I really don't know. It's going to come down to how the judge rules on Fani's motion. She has asked for everyone to be tried together. If that motion is granted, we're good to go. If not, it could very well be split up into multiple pieces, which, is going to be quite a mess. It's doable, but it's a mess. And again, I remind you, that's why only one defendant was listed in that DC case, because we've got a focus here, just one person. We don't have all of the shenanigans going on that we're going to have here in Georgia. No, I've not seen the Roger Stone, but that is on my list. I'm going to try to watch it before tomorrow. That's my goal. So I will be back on a live again tomorrow. I feel like we're pre-law. Oh, good. Hopefully fun pre-law. Hopefully, everyone can enjoy themselves instead of being scared. Oh my gosh. I try to make it user-friendly, I think that's important. If split, would it be the same judge in all the cases? Absolutely. I would think so. Unless the judge couldn't handle it because of scheduling issues. Then they might pull in another judge. But you would want the same judge to make the same rulings on all the same motions, so you've got continuity between all of the defendants, even if they're tried at different times. You would really want the same judge to rule on everything. Boring accounting. No, I love accounting. I tell people I'm an accountant. So that, they don't ask if I'm a lawyer. I'm like, no, I'm an accountant. We need to sell t-shirts, cups with your picture. Oh my goodness. Yes, we've got some merch in the mix. I'm starting down the merch road. There's a lot of rules involved with the merch. So it's taking me a while to read everything. Why should it go to federal court if the federal government is accused of Rico? Okay, why should it go to a federal court if the federal government is accused of RICO? The federal government's not accused of RICO. There's no federal government involved here. There's no federal government. These are all state charges, and these are all individual defendants. So no government's being charged here. Yeah, fun. I know, right, right. Are you in Georgia? Will you go to any? No, I'm not in Georgia. No, I'm not. Nope. And no plans of going there. It's a little it's a little dicey there right now. You're my favorite lawyer. Oh, James, thanks so much. Yeah, oh my gosh, such kind words. I appreciate that so much. I really do. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a tough, I get it. There's a lot of you know, unhappiness involved, but that's how it's hot in Georgia. I mean, no offense to Georgia, but it's hot and it's dicey. I'm fine to not be there. I'm okay. I got my own bag of problems in my own state, so at least I know how to dodge and hide in my own state. Why isn't RICO federal charges? It's just a state issue. Yes, this is a state issue. This is a state charge, a state RICO charge. We do have a federal RICO statute, but no one's charging a federal RICO statute. We're charging the Georgia statute here because this is affecting the votes in Georgia. This was affecting the electors in Georgia. This was affecting the voting machines, the ballots, the voter information. All of that is specific to Georgia. This is all Georgia all the time. And all of these defendants are being accused of being involved in an organization for the retention of power of Georgia in these votes. So that's why this is charged at a state level, because we've got that direct violation of Georgia law. There's no federal law here. There's no federal law. There could be federal law, but there hasn't been any charges of RICO at all. These are the charges that would coincide, and we've got conspiracy to defraud the United States. Here we've got defrauding Georgia, committing election fraud here and defrauding the state, but for different reasons. And then here we've got obstructing an official proceeding and attempting to obstruct that, along with conspiracy against rights. And this is a civil rights violation. So those are the DC charges. We don't have RICO charges in DC. Could be, but we just don't have them. How can Fulton Jail be that disgusting? Fulton Jail is not the only one that's that bad, honestly. That's kind of a trend that I think most people don't really realize, is a lot of the conditions are completely inhumane for a lot of jails. How much do you think the defendants don't want this trial televised? Yeah, probably not. Although it's hard to tell because I think a lot of the defendants, or at least one or two, think that they just did nothing wrong. They did absolutely nothing wrong. And if you have a very, high profile homicide case and the defendant comes in and says, well, I didn't do anything wrong, and everyone else is like, oh my gosh, how can you believe that? I mean, that's how it feels as an attorney looking at defendants who are like, well, we didn't do anything wrong, when you clearly can see that there are violations of the law. It's very similar. If you take the politics out of it and you just look at it as these are laws, we've got violations. We have this unique situation where people are saying, so what if I did it? It was fine. And it's just like almost like fingernails on a chalkboard. Some jails are better than others. Depends on where you're at, for sure. But yeah, some are definitely really, really just completely inhumane. Government officials are conspiring to cover up their own criminality. All right, well, I don't have any evidence of that. I got evidence of this stuff, but I don't have any evidence of that. I thought it was legal is not a good defense. It's really not. It's really not. It's not. It's completely blows my mind every time I see those statements. Like, well, of course I did. It was the best thing ever. I did the best thing ever. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh my gosh, no. Ooh, Texas is bad. Oh, I know. It is bad. You're right. I've still got family in Texas. We don't really talk right now. We're not really on the best of concerns. No AC, no heat, no water. Yeah, no water is punishment for. Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, Texas is atrocious. There have been some pretty significant cases that have come out of Texas. Jordy, I think Floyd got out last night. That was what I've read. I've not gotten confirmation, but as quick as I could find out, it looks like he was given bail last night. Could federal charges be filed in the same acts as charged in Georgia? Yes, they could be. They could be if they're violations of federal code. If any of these acts coincide with violations of federal law, they could be charged at a federal level. Absolutely. Wife and I can make a conspiracy to order pizza contrary to the kids. Doesn't make it a crime. That's true. That's true. You can order pizza. But if you are deciding if you're going to order pizza and then you're not going to pay them, and so you turn off the lights once you grab the pizza and you duck out of the way, now we're looking at a crime. So, it's all about context, right? Steve Bannon got Floyd out and then he went on Steve Bannon's show. Really? That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Yikes, there's all kinds of stuff going on. County jails are typically the worst. They are. That's why a lot of people, a lot of defendants, once they are sentenced, they're like, look, let me just start serving. I would rather go and start serving my sentence in prison than stay in county. County can really be bad. Could use ignorance of the law as the defense because they didn't tell them. Oh, perfect example, Flintstone. That's a perfect example. Like, oh, I thought that person was 18 or I thought that person was 21. Like, it doesn't matter. The law says what the law says, and what you believe isn't really the essential piece. Could these charges give as legal penalty in Georgia? No, none of these are forcible felonies. None of these are at that level. No. And that's one of the reasons why they're typically referred to as white collar, because even though we've got a lot of felonies and we even are looking at with Rico that 20 years, they're not forcible felonies. So we're not dealing with that level of a crime. Great question though. Bannon probably offered Floyd a big pile of money. Probably. I would imagine so. Count is very expensive. Yes, it is. County is very expensive and access is limited. And it's definitely an issue. Why are inhumane jails allowed? That's a great question, Darren. And I think it's just because, it's all about priorities. There's not enough money to go around. And most people are like, well, if you're in county, you deserve it. And whatever happens, happens. It's not our problem. And it seems to kind of be lower on the list as opposed to, basic human rights or human dignities or humane treatment. We've had the European Union in several places who have held many of our jails are violations of human rights. And, they're not wrong. It just doesn't get changed. It's just not a priority. And if it's up to a state to make that decision, there's only so much you can do to push it. And it's just one of those awful truths of the situation. It's like the defense didn't believe right. Like, I didn't know it was illegal to rob a bank. Well, still, you can still get charged for that. Can you tell us about the law going into effect October 1st in Georgia? And can Fani be fired? Okay. So with the law in Georgia, the law was put into place a while ago. Fani knows about the law. She's familiar with the law. She and other prosecutors have talked about it, and they've raised issues with it, especially citing civil rights issues with it. And there needs to be a showing of good cause that there is an inability or a lack or intentional not doing their job. That's the key to it. Are they doing their job? And as long as she's doing her job, she's documenting doing her job, she's going to have a very solid basis to remain in this position that she's in. Are politics going to come into play? I hope not, but it's likely. But is she prepared? I have no doubt. She is 100% prepared for what could happen. Yeah, they were voted in. Yeah, exactly. She knows her stuff. Yeah, that's exactly it. She has known about this law and has been preparing for this law since the day it passed. I have no doubt. Yeah. Exactly. What about all the other bank robbers? No more bank robbers. No. That is one of those traditional defenses, though, isn't it? Arizona with Tent City. Yeah. Oh, yikes. I can't imagine Arizona and Tent City right now. Honestly. My goodness. Yeah, New Zealand. Yeah, go Fawny. I mean, she knows what she's doing. She definitely knows what she's doing. The whataboutism is so frustrating. I agree. There's a lot. I had a teacher once say, if what ifs were snowflakes, we could go skiing. And so every once in a while, I'm like, we could go skiing. I wouldn't mind going skiing. That sounds fun. Let's do that. Why not? Let's go skiing on those what ifs. Governor Ron DeSantis has removed 2 of our state attorneys. Susan, you got a really unique situation going on there in Florida. Florida is just wow. Wow. I just don't even know what to do about Florida. I keep waiting for the people to push back, and I know a lot are, but until you get the numbers to push back and really force the situation, and not in a violent way, but in the way that we're known for in this country, when enough people, and it's about the numbers, get together and push for change, it does happen. But I feel my heart just goes out to Florida. It's a tough spot. Florida's in a tough spot right now. Yeah. I mean, it is. It's tough. And when you get a leader that comes in who's charismatic and gets a lot of votes and is able to really pull people to one side or the other, that's fine until you've got the majority saying this isn't what we want. That's the key. If the majority of Floridians do not want what's happening, they have the power as the majority to push for change. But it's not easy. It's so hard. But it's a numbers game also. Gerrymandering districts and a dictator. That's exactly all key pieces to it. But it's all about the numbers. It's about the numbers. If you can get the numbers together, you can make the change. And I truly believe that. And that's just based off of historically what's happened in this country. And it's not necessarily just about voting either. But it is. I mean, voting is important, but it's not just about that. I mean, it's a lot. Oh, it's an uphill battle, though. Time for talking is pretty much over. I think talking is still good, but I think the number of voices involved is essential. I think if you hear a group of people talking to you, that's one thing. But if you hear hundreds of thousands of people talking to you, that sounds a little different. In my humble opinion. The party in power gets to decide the districts. Yeah, Erica, it's been an ongoing issue. That's been a huge issue forever. A huge, huge issue. And the Supreme Court seems to be, kind of tiptoeing around it, which is actually refreshing that they're tiptoeing instead of smashing everything out of the way. So we will see about that. But they've had a couple of holdings recently that have been more open to this idea of, let's take care of this. Let's maintain some kind of order here. There are some rules that need to be followed. Back to New Orleans. In again next time. Yes, off you go. Enjoy. Have a great trip. Wed by a federal agent? Oh, okay. Interesting. A minority of people start change. A majority of people make change. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely. For sure. But it's not easy, is it? I mean, it's hard. It's hard work. Texas needs to go back to our blue roots. I think roots are the key. I think if that grassroots is the key to all of it, everywhere. And that's where it started, and that's where it can go again. Because I think if people really talk to each other and kind of pull back from, this huge narrative that's being thrown at us a lot, and you really get that one-on-one talk, you'll see that, we're actually really not that far apart. I know. Everyone's like, that's just not true. I know. But really, if you talk to your neighbor, that's my moment. I've got a neighbor across the street who disagrees with me politically to the extreme. But when it comes to washing siding, that person will be the first one over here helping me out. You know what I mean? There's just those basics that I think is like that little sliver of, well, let's just talk about siding then. Why do we have to talk about something that's harder than that? let me get the hose and help you clean your siding. Let's just start. Let's start with the basics again. Yes. I don't know about that. Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's my humble opinion. And has more registered Democrats than Florida. Yeah, Scott. I mean, yeah, they do. They do. I mean, that's a part of it, is really kind of clearing away all of the excess noise and really making it so that you can actually hear what the other person is saying. I think that's important, but also ideal. I mean, it's easy to say. It's easy to say the words. It's another thing to have to live and work through it. Conservatives always happy to help them. There you go, chicken milk. There you go. Exactly. I love that. And sometimes that's just enough. That's all that's needed. You and your parents. Yes, I know. I can understand. 14th Amendment can't work because of the write-ins. Well, I don't think that's true, actually. I don't think is really true. Gerrymandering, voter suppression in Florida. True story. It's an issue. It's an absolute issue. 64 years old. I remember everyone was against dictation. It was like 30% of Americans. Yeah, we got away. We got away from some things. Some things are much better, but other things are not quite as good. And I think one of the hardest things, or one of the things that is the most difficult to figure out, is communication. And I think our communication strategies are really kind of jacked up a bit. Gerrymandering in Texas. Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yes, it's an issue. Tennessee. Oh my gosh. Tennessee. Wow. Working hard in Tennessee. It's so hard. Respect that. Do you think we'll ever see Mike Pence's testimony? I do. I do think we will see that. I think that will be a very enlightening day. Now, if you remember, he was actually subpoenaed to come in and testify in front of Congress, but he refused. So I think it will be very interesting once we actually get him under oath on the stand to see what he has to say, because I think there's a lot more information that he has that we do not know about. Yeah, well, we have a Republican form of government under a democracy, so we already have that. It's guaranteed in the Constitution. It's actually literally words in the Constitution. We're guaranteed a right to a Republican form of government. I mean, that's like in the Constitution. So we do have that. But a Republican form of government is a type of democracy. So that's how that works. That's how that works. Let me just see if I can pull out my Constitution. I'm pulling it out from underneath all of my paperwork here. My paperwork with my poor weak print on it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go in tomorrow and go. Okay, so the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them from against invasions. So there you have it. Article 4, Section 4, Republican form of government, done. Constitution doesn't really matter. Well, it does. It does matter, but it's all a matter of people trying to twist and manipulate it in a way that they think is right. And every one of us that's taken an oath to the Constitution, calling them out on it and saying that's bologna sandwiches. Bologna sandwiches, in my opinion. Constitutional Republic. Yep. We can do that. Absolutely. I'm just checking my comments here. Sometimes I go off on a tangent. Not a Republican Party type of government. That's true. Exactly. No, we had the Republican Party came from the party called the Democratic Republicans, which was a party itself, which was opposed to the Whigs. So they just broke into two bits. It's a triggering question. It's triggering. Are you Republican? Are you Democratic? It's a trigger. I get it. But we actually came from the original party, the Democratic Republicans. The question is, how can the Constitution be interpreted so differently by the justices? It really has to do with their beliefs in the history and tradition and how things were meant to be interpreted. According to the history and tradition, a lot of law says that the Constitution needs to work with society, but then a lot of history and tradition has its own statements. So which way do you go? It will depend on how how the justices feel. And you can tell that. Are they more inclined of looking verbatim for history and tradition, or are they looking at this idea historically, traditionally, that we apply the Constitution to what's happening in the world today? I'm a teacher. My new catchphrase this year is bologna sandwiches. Oh, I love it. I know. That is my that's my more G version of a military saying that we would say a lot in the military, which was a different kind of sandwich, but is not as user friendly. Oh my goodness. Yes, I know. Oh my goodness. Have you watched? No, I've not watched Roger Stone. I've got that on my list. I'm going to try to watch it before tomorrow, actually. I'll be going back live again tomorrow at my usual time, so I'll try to see if I can catch it. I believe it's because they're not held to account and have no ethical standards. Ethics are the key. Ethics and accountability, you have to have those. Those are essential pieces to the health. Oh no, I'm torn. Barrister just went live. Oh, Scott, no, I understand. He's great. He's great too. He does great work. They completely ignored unenumerated rights. I think they not necessarily have ignored them. They're just not sure what they are. I think that's the issue. Oh yeah, of course I know FUBAR. Of course. Absolutely. I'm a military kid. I bet it. I know a lot of things I probably shouldn't say. So informational. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Andrew. I'm so glad to hear that. Something really messed up is a soup sandwich. Yes. Oh dear. Oh no, we've gone down the sandwich road. Harm their property. I choose my liberty and it's constitutionally protected. Fair enough. Were you jagged? No, I wasn't jagged. No, I was set to go into the Army, but I did not go. I had goals. And I could not achieve those goals because of my height. I was height restricted. And so after that happened, I felt so offended that I was too short to do what I wanted to do in the Army. And so I was like, see you later. And I walked away. So I was okay with that. Oh my goodness. That was a while ago. How can Thomas just not disclose gifts? Crazy. I agree. There needs to be some kind of standard. We don't have any rules. They need to make some rules. They're a court, for goodness sake. Make some rules, Isn't being charged at both state and federal levels? Double jeopardy. Great question. No, double jeopardy doesn't apply if the code sections are different. If you have a code section that's a state code, that's one charge. If you've got a code section that's a federal code, that's a different charge. So our two roads of state and federal, they don't cross each other. So they're two separate roads. If you've got a state charge and then another state charge, now those will cross, those will intersect. So you've got double jeopardy issues. But federal and state, nope, they do not cross. So we're okay with that. Most get waivers. How short are you? I'm pretty short, Hawk. I'm pretty short. He would love it if you would join his live one evening. Oh, I should. Oh, I'd love to do that. Absolutely. I will join him for sure. Oh, yes. Yeah, 6'3". Okay, now you're just bragging. No. I am a robust. I'm a good 5'2" 3/4 inches. So yes, I'm about Dolly Parton. I'm Dolly Parton's size. So we're very similar. If you were to picture what I look like, that's pretty similar to Dolly Parton. So I'm just too short. Yeah, I was too short. Yep. And I asked them, I'm like, what if I wore heels? And they're like, nope, sorry. So I just didn't meet the height requirement. And I'm like, I'm out of here. I gotta go. Forget it. We're as tall as we self-report. I'm 5'10". Oh my goodness. Oh, I love that so much. Yes, my military time has passed. I think the days of running 10 miles with my kids are over. But yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes. There's nothing. I'm very short. My family is very, very mixed, and I'm actually the same height as my grandfather. So I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Too short to serve, but not too short to serve. Yes, I agree. I agree. Well, and if you're sitting down, nobody really knows how tall you are anyway. You got robbed. Really? 4'11"? Oh, good for her. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I did. I did. I was pretty sensitive about it. I love how all of us short ladies make sure to include that point five. I know. Or if they put the thing too close to your head when they're measuring you, I'm like, hey, you're pushing too hard on my head. Why don't you go up an extra half an inch? That's fine. That's fine. I don't. Oh my goodness. Yes. Poop poop. She was tough. Oh, I bet. I bet. Oh my gosh. I bet she was. Good for her. Nothing but respect. Nothing but respect for military. My husband is short too. My husband is taller than I am. Yes, yes. Is there a motion that you can file to be able to hear court audio cases in civil court? Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I really don't know. You'd have to ask your clerk of court that question, and your clerk would know right off the bat. You could just call up and she'd be like, what's going on? Or she or he would be able to tell you that. What are the chances Giuliani defamation case upholds Fani charges in Georgia? I don't think his defamation case will necessarily be helpful or really that needed, honestly, in the Georgia case. I have a feeling that the information that they have on his interactions with the witnesses and the false statements, they've probably got so much evidence that the defamation showing would be just additional, or would be what I would do if I was Giuliani's attorney, which I'm not. I am not. Would be I would file a motion in limine claiming it would be too prejudicial to show them the default judgment. I would say the jury would hold on to the fact that, he was found defaulted in the case and look at him negatively because of that. So I would file to keep that even out of court. But I've got no doubt she's got plenty of evidence to go forward on it. Yes, back in high school. Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm a visual person. I've got no shame in that. I've got no shame. Height is a factor in military. It is. It is, George. It is. It was definitely a factor for me. The law degree, you'd started as an officer, probably JAG. I could have. I was looking at just enlisting. I was straight off of the street from a very long family of enlisted. So that was where my focus was. I was signed up and ready to go at 16. I was just waiting to get old enough to go in. But those were the old days. That was a long time ago. You're hilarious. Oh, thank you. Oh, gotta include the hair height. I know, right? I know. Why else have the hair so big? What's OC? Oh, this is the code for Georgia. So I think the O is official. So official code of Georgia. No, that's a great question. We all kind of make our acronyms a little bit different depending on where we're at. Good things come in small packages. Oh, cozy. My mom said that too. She was at least a foot taller than me. So she always said that as she patted me on the head. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. It's fun. You'll see basketball players on a submarine. True story. Oh my gosh. I remember I was at homecoming dance in high school and there was just this really sweet basketball player and I was like, hey, you want to dance? And he's like, sure. And literally I just couldn't even see his head. He was so much taller than me. I was like, are you up there? I can't even see. I can't tell. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Yes. I was a recruiter. I could have gotten you. Probably, Hawk. You probably could have. It wouldn't have taken much. Official code of Georgia annotated. Thank you, Flintstone. Appreciate that. Yes. Okay. Love that. Love it. Yes. I thought it was official something in there. Fun size. Yeah, it is. Yeah, fun size. I got no problem with that. Lollipop Guild. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Takes all sizes and that's fine. Who cares? Will the judge decide Friday before holiday on Meadows? That's a great question. Boy, I hope so. I really hope so. It's going to be a long weekend without having any knowledge. And the judge has said, look, I need to take my time and really figure that out. And I respect and I understand that. But also, we got stuff to do. We need decisions made. It's like, please, thank you. Air Force pilots are short. Yes, true. Oh, my vision is awful, though. Oh, that'd be so cool to be a pilot. Oh, my gosh. I would love that. Medium size when it comes to height. Love it. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's fantastic. Yes. Yeah, I really, I got used to it. I think that was my last moment where I was offended by my height. And then after that, I was like, I got stuff to do, so get out of my way. I was always the fastest to run out of the room, so I think that was because I was closer to the ground. Oh my goodness. Really, 6 feet for a pilot? Short people live longer. Okay, well, that's all right then. Really, 52 bomber pilot. Bro, that's so cool. Oh my gosh. Wow, World War II. That's amazing. That would be, probably loud. Hopefully his hearing was okay. I'm just concerned about his hearing. I'm like, was he okay? Not short, I'm just not tall. That's the perfect size then. I think that's the perfect size for you. Short people are closer to the ground. We are. We can hide. We can hide and run. Oh my goodness. Oh, can the Virginia represent a veteran in a medical? I'm not sure. My messages are open, by the way. If anyone wants to, I'm 6'3" and 250 pounds. Oh, well, that's cool. I love to hear that. Let me just put this out here to share this with everybody. That's awesome. Love to hear that. 15, we got private pilot license. Oh, that's cool. My goodness. Navy pilots have to see the boat on approach, but the canopy has to close over your head. Really? Oh my goodness. Who set the elephant? Oh my gosh. I can't. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You all are just a stitch. I can't. Oh my gosh. That's just... Oh my goodness gracious. That may have been the best one. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Oh wow. Yes, chef's kiss. It was. It was very funny. Oh my goodness. Everybody, you're just hilarious. I needed that. Oh my gosh. It's a lot, but yet fun. Oh, there we go. Wait. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Okay. Yes. Thank you for that. Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, there's a double. There's a double. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh wow. Okay, I gotta get myself sorted out here. Whew. Oh my gosh. Yes. The emblem is too small. Oh wow. Yes. You did. You started chaos, but we love it. We love that kind of chaos. We're all about that. But it's good, it's good to have a visual aid, I think. Visual aids are important. Oh my goodness. We do love it. We absolutely love it. It's a good time for everyone. Oh my goodness. What? No. Wait. I can't breathe. Oh my gosh. Oh my Okay. Oh my goodness. goodness gracious. Well, yes. Visual aids, important. Yes, I agree with the attorneys. Oh my goodness. The attorneys, I'm with you on that. It's frustrating. I know, Daisy, same. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. Okay. I can't. Oh, wow. All right. Here we go. Yes. Okay. We got still. Oh my goodness. Oh, the white one. Yes. Oh, that was gorgeous. I love that. Oh, it's like a Barbie hat. Oh my gosh. Okay. Whew, let's get serious here. All right. In your legal observation, what are the chances of any of them going to prison? Pretty good. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. And I say that just because there's so many charges and there's a lot of evidence. We don't even have all of the evidence by any means. So I think it's, it's possible. It's definitely possible. I miss the elephant. Oh my gosh. Oh. Yes. I'm going to start a live with images of all of them in rotation. Oh, I love that. You should do that. Yeah, I think the elephant was definitely, I don't know. I think they were all really good. They have no evidence. Well, we've got this evidence. So, it's a 100-page. Oh no, I took them away. Oh no, I've ruined it. Sorry about that. Wait, here we go. We do have the evidence that's in the indictment, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Oh, sorry, everybody. That was terrible. There we go. Let's get it sorted. There we are. We're sorted. We're back. I like the flowers. I do. I like the flowers. I do. I think it's good. I think the flowers are helpful for that. Oh my gosh, the fruit hat. The indictment's not evidence. No, the indictment is the evidence of probable cause. So there's that. There's that evidence. That is what an indictment is. So, that's how it's set out. The fruit hat. Oh my goodness. All right, death blow. Oh, sure, if you believe that, you go for it. That's fine. Look at Cuddy. I know. But, the situation is so tough. I don't blame her. There's a crown. I know. Uncle Rudy. Oh my goodness. Yes. It's a lot. Indictments of preliminary charge. An indictment's a finding of probable cause that certain people committed certain offenses. That's what, oh my goodness. That is what an indictment is. So we do have a finding of probable cause, and that is evidence. Oh my goodness. I can't. I'm just tears streaming down my face right now. Oh, usually I'm going to start. I know. So funny. Could result in a hung jury. Sure, it's possible. Any case could be a hung jury. Absolutely. There's not enough for this town. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, people. I do. I like the white hat. I like the hot dog. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he was. I mean, Rudy was known as America's mayor, right? During 9/11. Yes, Molly, it's being recorded. This will be up on YouTube later. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. Yes. So I'll have all of these fun. Oh yeah, it'll all be up. Yes, I think so. I think you have to do that. Go for it. Absolutely. Does it matter if the jurors are? No, and we can't ask them. What political affiliation they have. That would be, very bad form. And oh my goodness. I can't. political affiliation is not a consideration when we're picking our jurors. Oh my gosh. I think it was the feather. It was the feather that got me. I can't. Seriously, don't need to do an ab workout tonight. You can ask them which news channel they watch. True. Although even that we kind of try to steer away from. We really got to be careful with how we ask our questions. And we can ask questions that can get to the answers we're looking for without, being so upfront about it or having too much fun. I agree, Deborah. Oh my gosh, the crown. I love the flower crown. That's a good one too. Excellent choices, everybody. Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for the fun gifts. Do you know anything about Meadows trying to coordinate campaign funds? I don't at this point. I really don't. I should look into that, but I've not checked out that exactly. I know that was part of his testimony was the chicken and a duck. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's the crown. Oh, we were waiting on the crown. Oh my gosh. Wow. Fun with pictures. Oh, now, Steve, no need to get all hot and upset. Oh, the feather's back. I love it. How can you combat with people that do nothing but lie? I just don't combat. I just don't. Okay. I think that's what's going to prevent him from going to federal court. I think so too. There was a lot of discussion in that hearing about, how far do you go? What's the limit? What are the limits to campaigning? And especially under the Hatch Act. Those are really good questions. Very good questions. I'm taking so many screenshots. I can't. Seriously, I have hurt something on my left side. Oh my gosh. You're teaching the Magna Carta today. Oh, rule of law. Yes. And good. Thank you for your service teaching the Magna Carta. Somebody has to do it. Oh, the helmet. I agree. The helmet was great. Oh, good night, all. Have a good evening. You too. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Sometimes it's good to get a few laughs in. Oh no, he's in a boat. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh, I think the fruit hats definitely. I like the. Oh my goodness. All right, things are getting a little crazy now. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes, the duck. We love the duck. The duck is great. At some point, what is that? What? Oh my goodness. We do. Yeah, the fruit hat. I'm telling you. Oh, the little dog. Oh, he's on a skateboard. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Oh, the slime. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, we had the cheeks too. Oh my goodness. Goodness. It's good. It's good times. Sometimes it's important to just have a good chuckle. The chuckles are good. Oh my gosh. If they're convicted, how long would they be eligible until they be eligible for parole? Now that I don't know. Each of their charges is at least 1 year. Let me just point to it down here. I don't want to disturb. Oh my goodness. All right. So 1 to 5 years, 1 to 15, up to 1 year, or 5 to 20. So they would have to do some minimums. Oh, thank you. Yes, thanks for the gifts. Oh my gosh. Oh, in so many, many ways. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. All of you are so sweet. I appreciated it. Oh my gosh, I was having a bit of a rough day, so I'm definitely in a much better mood, and I'm very thankful for it. I think we all needed to celebrate. We did. I don't. What? Okay, the cat paw was the best. Cat paw. Oh my gosh. Get some new highlighters. Well, I will do that. I will definitely get some new ink. Oh, I gotta refill my ink. Kitty trying to tear your paper. Oh yeah, yeah. I will definitely thank you for that for sure. I'll get some more ink. Oh, another cat. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I gotta catch my breath. I'm sorry. Okay, taking a minute. Oh my gosh. We keep the kitty away from the ink. Oh my gosh, a llama. What is that? Oh, that's fabulous. Oh, everybody, you're so sweet. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. I know. My printer, I really need to. I'll get some more ink. I promise. Oh my gosh. Wow. I know the llama. I love that. Can the Supreme Court block anything or interfere? The Supreme Court can answer questions that are constitutional questions. So if there are any specific questions on the Constitution, they would come in as an appellate court, but that's the only way they would be involved. That's it. Not the night hat. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious, everybody. Oh, you're so sweet. I thank you so much for that. Having this much fun. I know. Oh, I do love the corn. I do appreciate that. Do you think they would? I'm not sure. I think this is going to be a really tough situation. They're already kind of, not having the best PR situation. And I think for them to kind of swoop in and step outside their bounds would be pretty risky right now. But we'll have to see. I mean, right now, the only constitutional law questions are the supremacy clause, and that's decided by the lower courts. So back to the fruit hat. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But at this point, I don't see any constitutional law questions that would make it to them anytime soon. We could have an interlocutory appeal at some point, but we're pretty far away from that. Yeah, I think the fruit hat. We do. You're right, Steffi. I think you're right. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to watch, but I think, again, the Supreme Court, is going to make sure that they're in their proper role. So if only Boop Boop was a gift. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for the gifts. I mean, it's hilarious, but it's also very sweet of all of you to send that. Oh, to send your gifts. Oh, I love it. Oh, look at that. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I love that. That's fabulous. Oh, my gosh. Yes. Oh, the fruit hat. Well, the elephant. Yes. Oh, look at the little dog, too. He's adorable. And the little dog. Oh, I love it. Led to some of the best memes. I agree. Yeah, go for it. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, someone will have to make some great memes and send them to me. I would love to see that. That would be fabulous. Ooh, there we go. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. The Boop Boop. The Boop Boop will live on forever. I think that was a life-changing moment when we all got to participate in the Boop Boop situation. Oh. Yeah, bye, Clark. Bye. Oh, yeah. Thanks for all the oh my goodness. At least we've got, you got to keep your sense of humor. You got to keep, going, going forward in life. Oh my goodness. No, we know what you meant though, Suze. You can even say bloop all you want. We still know what you mean. Yeah, it totally changed my life. That was a life-changing moment. Life-changing. I know, boop boop. I mean, I thought I had read it wrong. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? It's true. I think we're delusional at this point. I agree. I think we are. We're going through all these cases. We've got all this stuff coming down. It's like, what is going on in this world? It's a bit of madness for sure. We've gone too far. It has been tense. It has been. And there are so many people that are just kind of raging out. It's like, wow, people, come on now. Oh, my goodness. Yes, true. Absolutely. This is my favorite live. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, I appreciate that so much. It is heavy. It is. It is difficult, things to get through. And it's every single day, too. It's every single day. And it's a lot every day. So it's nice to be able to have a little break. So I've been, over my lunch break, I was putting together, this indictment. Here, I'm going to move him now. I'm worried. I don't want you to spend all your gifts on me. So let me move this out of the way. But I was working on this, but then I also made these little cards because I thought, I'm a visual person. So I made little cards with all of the mugshots and then all of the charges on it. And so, this is where I'm at, where I'm needing some brevity. I'm like, what can I do where I can learn, but still, not deal with it? So I wasn't sure how to put the right picture in for this particular one. I know. I just thought I would share a little laugh with you because, I'm like, we've got all the charges here, all the counts, but then we have the pictures. Oh, yeah. So this is how I spent my lunch hour today, putting these together. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, go for it. I thought so. But I thought, I'm just trying to to make things a little bit lighter. Yeah. So, welcome to It's Merge. So I understand the need to have a bit of brevity. I totally get that. I get a new film background. It's art. Yes. Well, it's a big picture. I know the picture's important, but I figured the whole goal was so I could have a visual. It is important to be organized, right? Right. Oh, I could. I was thinking, maybe Candyland, something along those lines. We'll see. One count of having a bad hairstyle. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes. Well, the hair, I thought, we just needed a little picture, but I made everybody just a little card because, again, I'm trying to understand everything, but also needing a bit of a break from the intensity that is the reality that we're all living in at the moment. So you didn't even have to write his name. I contemplated that. I'm like, well, I should probably make sure just in case anybody doesn't know. Oh my goodness gracious. The hair is represented by two separate but equally important. I agree. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes. In groups, the police who investigate, the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. Oh my goodness. In general, what stops a contrarian juror to refusing to vote guilty due to some hidden bias? If it's in front of the jury, it's too late. The best thing you can do is to make sure you pull that juror out before they even sit on the jury. That's the best goal. That's the best way to do it. For sure. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, I'm looking at the time, everybody. I think I may need to go ahead and let you go. I've got a couple of things I'm going to be watching for tomorrow. Here in order. Oh my gosh. You can make bingo cards. I might do that for sure.
Oh, thank you, Neon. Thank you. I will definitely have this up on my Tube of You channel for everyone so we can go back and enjoy for a few moments. But thank you all for coming. I will be back again tomorrow going through some more things. Hopefully I'll be better organized. But thank you for all coming tonight. For all of you, I really appreciate it. Support the bingo. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm just saying it's good to have some brevity. It's okay. Oh, it was nice to watch this. Yes, it was great to see all of you. So have a wonderful night, everybody. And I will have this up on YouTube very soon. I will be back again tomorrow. So I wish you all the best of nights. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Oh, it was fun. Oh my gosh. It was so much fun. I thank you. I thank you so much. So take care, everyone. And I will be back tomorrow about the same time. Have a fabulous night. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.